Hi, I missed you. Did you miss me? I have little Lulu here again. She's just very insistent on working all the time. So today we're going to actually do something besides talk about Lou and the fur that's flying. We're going to be doing three different types of tube setting. One that involves a bearing for the stone to sit on. One that's a real quick method that you can use with diamonds and or CZs, and another involves making a kind of swollen conical shape called a collet, and so we are going to be doing that today soon. Can we get rid of the cat? Maybe not. Maybe we can't get rid of the cat. So Audrey, this is the name of my ring. Ah, that's a cat. Is an example of a quick tube setting technique. These are CZs in here, and what I do is cut the seat and set the sewn all in 2 steps using a drill or 2 flex shafts, and then they're soldered on with the stone in place. So you can only do this with stones that'll survive the temperatures of soldering, which is why diamonds and CZs are good for this technique. So we're going to talk a little bit about the files, not the files, but the tubing. You should get a heavy walled tubing. Okay, miss, could you get out of the way? Like these. No. Heavy walled tubing, because you need to be able to cut the seat, which is a place for the stone to sit on. And if you use a thin walled tubing, there isn't enough of an edge to sit it on and curl it over the top of the metal. So you want to go with a heavy walled tubing on this one. So what we're going to do is measure the stone, and then we're going to mark the tubing where we need to cut it. The first thing that we need to do is measure our stone. I'm not using this massive one, but we're going to measure it. I don't know if I've shown you how to do this before or not. I use a raised surface so that the jaws of the digital calipers rest flush on here. If you do it like this, they stick up off the surface, so this makes it easier to facilitate measuring. So we've got an 8.06, and when measuring round stones, turn them once at least, and then what do we got? 8.07. So there's 2 different measurements, so I'm going to go with the 8.07. I'll bet you money this is sold as an 8.8 millimeter stone, so don't assume that your stones are the size that they say they are. Measure them every time. So let's see, I've already written this down, so I'm going to put that over here. Now we need to measure the height of the stone, so we're going to put the table of the stone on the interior jaws, and then close it down on the culet, and there we have how you measure the height, and then this is at 4.91. So that means this is determining how high the height of our tubing that we're going to cut. So 4.91, I'm going to round it up to 5 millimeters. So I'm going to cut a piece of tubing that is 5 millimeters tall, and I'm going to choose a tubing that has an outer dimension of at least 8.57, because I took this measurement and added ½ millimeter, or a little more. What you want to do is see, we'll have a close-up here, but of what how much metal you should have around the edge, but you do want to have like ½ millimeter sticking out from the side of the stone, so you have material to push over the top of the stone for setting purposes. So that's important. So now I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to get my dividers and my ruler, and we are going to do fancy things. Actually, it's pretty dull. I'm going to mark 5 millimeters on my dividers. And since we have to go outside the tubing when we drag it, I'm going to put this outside the line there, and then this is going to be centered, the second leg. So from what I can I can't see, I don't have my optimizers on. The normal problem there. Ah! Stay. That looks good enough from here. Being blind, it's fabulous. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not using this 8mm. I'm actually going to be setting a 4mm stone. And I can't get it out of the bucket I've got going on over here. So there's that. And then my tubing is 4.57. So we've got that extra half a millimeter. So I'm going to measure this separately, and I'll get back to you and show you a marking on the tubing. Okay? Okay. It's alright. So my stone was 2.39 tall. I rounded up to 3mm. I've set my dividers, and then I'm going to, boy, this is easier on my bench pin. I have a little groove cut in here, and I just put this in here and roll it along. So you want to just mark along the top of your tubing where your 3 is. So with this type of setting, you can actually do both sides, set both sides of the tube and then saw it in half and have 2 settings at once. So if I was going to do that, I would make this like maybe 6.1 to allow for the material that's removed from the sawing. So think about doing that too, because it's really simple, and then you get 2 settings done in about 2 minutes. It's fabulous! Okay, so now we're going to cut this. And you can use either these doodahs, which are tubing cutting plier thingies. I can't, when it's down there, I can't see to line it up. I don't like it because this is very wide and it gives you a lot of wiggle room with your blade. So if you're going to use these, choose to saw either from on the left wall of the steel here or on the right wall. If you try to do it in the middle, you're going to end up a little crooked. Better is to have this type with a real thin slot in here so you don't have a lot of wiggle room for your blade. So what I'm going to do is put this in here and then set the height, the width on this to where my line is on my metal, and that way I can cut a whole bunch of them at once if I need to. And I've adapted these. I unscrewed this part and drilled a hole in a piece of brass and then screwed it back in because this sits really nicely across my bench pin. It also catches sawing debris for refining purposes. So anyway, that's that. So you may not even notice it, but here's my little drill, and there's our bit of tubing in here. Sometimes it's easier to keep it longer and cut it afterwards, depending on how small a setting you're doing. But anyway, I've got a setting burr in here. You could also use a ball burr, and I'm just putting a little, that stuff I never can remember the name of. What is it? Anyway, it's a liquid lubricant. And what I want to do is I'm going to put the burr into the tubing. I'm going to turn on the drill, which I have set to go backward. And then I'm going to hit the foot pedal. And you want to stop and check out to see how your stone fits in there. Where's my doodah? So you can make these little pickups. Cat fur. Are we surprised? This is made from sticky wax. You can also make like this one out of more cat fur. Surprise, surprise! Beeswax, which you warm up in your hand and push over something. So what I'm going to do is pick this up and check my stone fit. Where'd you go? That's not the right stone. That's a 3mm. I need a 4. So what I want to see, and we'll do a close-up of this again, is I want to see that I have the stone is sitting in enough, and then I've got this little, I don't know how many points of a millimeter it is, but maybe 2.3 of a millimeter hanging up over the top. And this looks really good, so I am done with that part. Now, for the next trick, I'm going to thin these walls on the outside a little bit. And, wrong thing. And I'm going to the drill is turning this way, because remember the teeth cut this way, so when I hold the file, it's going to be filing it, and I'm going to kind of do it on its side, and then I'm going to turn it and do a little bit of the edge. This is a Habalus file, by the way. It's in between a needle nose and a regular sized file, and I am looking for a fine file. There's one. What is this? And now I'm just refining the edge of it. This is like a, I think it's a 5 cut. So now we've kind of beveled this edge in. It'll be thinner and it'll be easier to set. And hold on a second, I forgot something. There we go. Sorry. That has never happened on my videos before, ever. Just put a little toothbrush in there. Brush your teeth with this. And now we're almost done. Oh my God, it's so exciting. I'm putting my stone in, I hope. Now I've got my burnisher here, and I'm having it in an angle. My fingers are just for a second. The stone is pretty much wedged in there now. And I'm just gonna push on this. Hey, I'm gonna go the other way. Wait, where's the thingy? Oh, for God's sakes. There. Go this way. And you just lean on your burnisher and curl it towards the stone. And you can check it by moving it with your finger. And that's that. It's done. Ooh, I caught that. Yay! So, there it is. It's set. I might have been able to go over a little farther on there. I think I might put it back in and push it a little farther. I have one that I did earlier, but knowing me, I won't be able to find it. Anyway, you can do this in your flex shaft too. It's just that this tubing did not fit in my flex shaft. So you don't have to always use a drill with it. You can do 2 flex shafts together to do the process. Have one in one and one in the other. Or another option, if you don't have 2, is you can use your little vise here to hold it. Do your drilling and filing. You won't have the rotary thing going on, but this is a great little tool to hold these tiny tubes for setting purposes. So you could, come in here with your burnisher and hit the top of it if you wanted to. So that's basically that. And this technique, minus putting the stone in, is a really quick, easy way to prep it. Let's say you were doing an amethyst and you didn't want to hit it with a torch because the amethyst will turn clear or brown. You go ahead and prep your tube, cut your seat here, file the sides down, and then solder it on, and then, hand set using, your piece and a vise and a burnisher. So that's that on that kind of tube setting. And then I'm going to talk about telescoping tubing, making a bearing with another piece of tubing. So I'm going to get set up for that.